Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into two pieces of US paperwork that are absolutely critical: the BOI Report and Form W8-BEN. Now, this isn't just about filling out some forms. This is about defining who you are in the American financial system. It's a system with its own set of rules, and trust me, you want to know how to play the game. So let's crack this thing open. So, do you own a US company? Maybe you earned some income from the States. If that's you, then you've got to listen up. The US government and the people paying you in the US, they need to know who you are. These forms are how you officially create that financial identity, and getting it right from the start is everything. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the BOI report, that's all about company ownership. Then we'll tackle Form W8-BEN, which is about your personal tax status. We'll put them side by side, share some key strategies for filing, and then zoom out to see the bigger picture of what this all means. Okay, let's dive right in. First up is the form that's all about your company, the Beneficial Ownership Information Report. You can just call it the BOI Report. This is a big one, and it's all thanks to something called the Corporate Transparency Act. The whole point is to pull back the curtain and see who really owns and controls companies in the US. And let me just say, the stakes here are, well, they're high. This isn't one of those things you can just put off. We're talking $500 a day for every single day you don't comply. Regulators are not messing around here. They're sending a very clear message that this new transparency rule is serious business. Okay, this is where a lot of people get tripped up. You've got two different roles here. The beneficial owner, that's anyone with real control or who owns at least 25%, and the company applicant, which is literally the person who filed the paperwork. And here's the absolute key takeaway. If your company existed before 2024, you only worry about the owners. But if you formed it in 2024 or later, you gotta report both. Now, if you're a serial entrepreneur or you just have a bunch of different companies, you are gonna love this. It's called a FinCEN ID, and it's a total game changer. When you file your first report, you can ask for one. Then, for every other company you own, you just pop in that single number instead of typing out all your info again. It's a huge time saver. So let's just recap the game plan here. Get all your owner information together. File it online through the FinCEN portal, grab your FinCEN ID while you're at it, and please, know your deadline. For older companies, it's the end of 2024. For new ones, you've got 90 days. All right, let's switch gears. We've talked about your company's identity. Now let's talk about your identity, your personal one. And that brings us to our second form, the W8-BEN. This one is all about you and your relationship with the US tax system. So what is this thing really? At its heart, it's basically a note you give to whoever is paying you in the US. You're saying, hey, I'm a foreign person, so please don't take that default 30% tax out of my payment. And this is super important. You're not sending this to the IRS. You're giving it to your client, to the company paying you. Okay, this slide is brilliant because it tackles a super common question. BEN, or BNE. Think of it this way. BEN is for a person. BNE is for an entity. But, and this is the tricky part, what about a single member LLC? Well, the IRS just kind of looks right through the LLC, straight to you, the owner. So even with a US LLC, if it's just you, you're still using the W8-BEN for individuals. Wild, right? Listen, this right here, this is a huge piece of the puzzle. The person in HR at the company paying you, they're not a tax lawyer. They have no idea what your country's tax treaty says. It is 100% on you to figure this out and claim your rate on the form. If you leave that part blank, guess what happens? They're just gonna take out the default 30%. Ouch. So how do you actually do it? It's a three-step process, really. First, you find the tax treaty between the US and your country. A quick search online will do it. Second, you have to dig through it and find the right part, the article. that talks about your kind of income. Is it royalties, dividends? Find it. And third, you like that exact article number and the lower tax rate right on the form. That's the magic trick that can take you from 30% down to 10%, or maybe even 0. Okay, so we've broken down both forms. Let's put them side by side now. Seeing them together is really where it all clicks, and you can avoid some major confusion. This table just lays it all out perfectly. Look at the purpose. One is about who owns the company. The other is about your tax status. Who files? The company versus you, the individual. And where does it go? This is huge. The BOI goes straight to the government. The W8-BEN, it goes to the person paying you. They are two totally different tools for two totally different jobs. All right, so we get it. But how do we get good at this? Let's move from just ticking the boxes to actually being smart and proactive about it. Here are the key strategies you need to know. For the BOI report, here's what you really need to remember. First, get that FinCEN ID. Seriously, just do it. Second, that deadline for older companies, December 31st, 2024, is coming up fast. And here's when people mess up all the time. For the address, use your real business address, even if it's not in the US. Don't use your registered agent's address. And finally, this isn't a one and done thing. If your ownership details change, you have to update it.
Now for the W8-BEN, the pro tips are just as important. That treaty section, never ever leave it blank. It's your job to fill it in. Remember, you give it to the payer, not the IRS. Don't forget that weird rule about single-member LLCs. That's you filing a W8-BEN. Oh, and you have to put your tax ID number from your own country on there. They definitely need that.
Okay, let's step back from the weeds for a second. We've talked about all the rules and details, but what does all this paperwork really mean? What's the bigger picture here? At the end of the day, this is about way more than just staying out of trouble. It's about you taking control. The BOI report, that's you defining your company's identity for the government. The W8-BEN, that's you defining your personal identity for the tax system. When you get these right, you're not just complying, you're being strategic. You're making sure everyone knows exactly who you are and how you should be treated financially. And that really makes you think, doesn't it? This whole push for transparency isn't just a US thing. It's happening everywhere. So the big question for all of us is, as this trend continues, how is the very idea of a financial identity going to change for entrepreneurs and investors all over the world in the next few years? That's something we'll all need to keep an eye on.